Hello, everyone. It's your girl Tiffany Nicole. Welcome back to another episode. As my child is in prison, now what? Y'all, I told y'all I was gonna bring her back, and I brought her back out again, and I brought her back. Sybil, she's back. Some of you guys probably did not know that Sybil. I don't know if I said it before, but I'm saying it again. Sybil used to work in the prison as a nurse, and I want to be able to help moms who have anxiety or panic attacks when your son or daughter gets injured, or they get sick, or they're not getting the right medication. Sybil is going to guide you through that. She's seen a lot inside there. She's going to share her feedback. She's going to give some scenarios, and she's definitely going to share what she witnessed inside the prison herself. Again, Sybil, welcome back.
Thank you so much, Tiffany, for having me. Thank you so much. And good evening, everybody. I'm glad to be here. It's an honor to be here. I did work in a prison. The prison that I worked in was for violators, those guys who had violated parole. And so they were in, some had already completed hardcore time and got in trouble after they gotten out, so they come back in. So we didn't have like inmates there that were there long term.
You didn't have inmates that were in there for long term. Okay, so sorry about that,
You
Marley.
know,
Marley saying hey to y'all.
hey Marley.
um, so your prison dealt with inmates that were wait, say that again.
We had inmates there that were they had gotten in trouble again. They were parole violators,
Okay.
probation violators. So that's
Okay.
why they were there. And so they would have to come in, to go through intake and all that. We didn't deal with that. They had different nursing staff that deal with intake, when they first come in.
Mm-hmm.
We dealt with the inmates after they were actually, incarcerated there. They would, I can't remember, they could be there up to 2 years, 3 years, sometimes a little bit longer. If they were there longer, I think they went next door. But
Oh, they went next door.
we
Okay.
still had to take care of their needs, and they still had to go through the processes.
Okay, for those of you who don't, because you have people that are joining in right now,
Okay.
Sybil, before we dive into that, I do want to let the audience know, the listeners know that, again, welcome again to My Child is in Prison Now What podcast with Tiffany. Um, I do want you ladies to know she's just not a nurse. She's also a mother who also had a child that was incarcerated too. So she is a mother from both sides of the spectrum, not just a nurse coming in to give us, you know, she's not a nurse just telling us what we should be asking for, what we should be looking for when our sons or our daughters get injured or get sick. She also knows what the prison is like itself because she's her son as well. And so, but for those who don't know who you are, because we have some new people that are on right now, can you give the people a background story of about your son that we love so much, and a
Mhm.
little bit more about you?
Okay. All right. So once again, like Tiffany said, my name is Sybil, and my son Chase was incarcerated in Arkansas, and he passed away last year while he was incarcerated. So, but before that time, I worked years ago. Um,
Oh no, did we lose her? Y'all, we lost her. Oh my goodness. That has never happened to me. Where did she go? Oh my God, Sybil. Where did she just go, y'all? Where did she go? Okay, give her a minute. She gonna chime back in. I know she is. Give us a minute. She'll come right back. She will be back. But in the meantime, since I have y'all, hey y'all, it's your girl Tiffany Nicole. Let me give y'all an update on Damiani. Damiani will be coming home soon. Yes, y'all. There she is. There she is. Y'all stay tuned for that. I'll let,
it's
bring up Sybil.
it's getting bad outside, so I'm not sure if my internet connection is going. I apologize for
Okay.
that.
That's
So I
okay.
will so I will try to just kind of keep going. I
Okay.
didn't just graduate from nursing school and decide I wanted to work as a correctional nurse. That wasn't what it was. It was one of those new nurses graduated. Oh, I just want to change the world. I want to help everybody. So I did work in other aspects of nursing before working as a correctional nurse. Working as a correctional nurse is a lot different. So from the nurse aspect, I would go to work every day, a day in the life of a correctional nurse. You go to work. You have to have a clear bag. You can't take anything into the prison. Cell phone is a definite no. So you are away from your family for that 12-hour shift. If anybody needs to reach you, they have to, contact you on the phone inside the prison. You can't have a phone. We couldn't take anything that was not opened. It had to be closed, sealed. If you took a bottle of water or something like that. So that was just, regular things that we did as nurses. I went to work as a nurse every day to take care of inmates. And like I said, it's different from working in a hospital because you don't have family members there asking you for juices and all those things. You've got people that are locked behind those doors that cannot leave. They are there. So that's just the background from being a nurse and also being a mom of Chase, who was incarcerated.
So, a lot of mothers want to know. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
gonna get to the nitty gritty. Like we just
Okay.
gonna get. We're not gonna do appetizers. We're not gonna even ask for it. We're not gonna even ask you want some water. We're going right to the steak, potatoes, and then we'll go back to dessert.
Okay.
So, what is the main thing that a mother should ask when it comes to when their son is not getting their medication?
So the main thing that is very important is to put those sick calls in. And excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Once they put those sick calls in, talk to your kids and tell them to make sure that it's legible. And if they have 5 different elements, put all 5 elements, everything that's wrong with you on that sick call, and tell your son or daughter to be specific with what's going on with them. I know they have to, in Arkansas, they had to pay $3 for a sick call. I think I was talking to another nurse in another state, and there was a different charge. In Texas, I'm not sure if they even charge, but in Arkansas, they had to pay $3 for the sick call. If there was 11 different things, if your child had a headache, a toothache, a backache, constipated, everything, put it on there. And if they can't have issues spelling the words, tell them to make it very simple. Put it on there. We look at those sick calls, and there's 3 days that's going to go by before those sick calls are going to be addressed.
Okay, someone just asked, is it like kite or kit?
I'm not familiar with kite.
Okay. Someone just asked that question. So basically, a mother should, when you say fill out that card, what?
So there's a sick call form that each
Okay,
inmate gets when they should be placed somewhere where they're accessible to them. If not, the
okay,
CO should be able to give them a sick call form. Fill out the
okay,
sick call with your name, your number on it, and then it asks questions. It asks you what's going on with you, how long have you had the symptoms, all those things. It needs to be legible. Some nurses will say I couldn't read it, and it might go to the bottom of the pile. I'm not saying that I would do that. I'm not saying, but I've seen other nurses put it to the bottom of the pile because they couldn't read it.
So mothers, listen to what she just said. She's talking about handwriting being
Mm-hmm.
legible. So
Mm-hmm.
nurses that can't read your child's writing,
Mm-hmm.
she's now not Sybil because Sybil knows what it's like because her son was in prison. So
Right.
she's looking at inmates most likely at a different perspective than other
Mm-hmm.
nurses.
Right.
Um, and she know Jesus and Abraham, so
Mm-hmm.
she a little
All of
bit
them.
different from the rest of the nurses. So she's saying that other nurses have put it to the end of the pile because they can't read it, the
Mm-hmm.
handwriting. Correct?
Mm-hmm. And it's already going to take you, 3 days. We have up to 3 days to address those sick calls, unless it's an emergency.
Okay.
If your
And
child is experiencing an emergency, they're having chest pains, they need to make sure that right on there, I'm having chest pains. This is an emergency, or this is a 911. And they also need to tell the CO.
Okay. And then someone asked, who fills out those cards? The inmate does,
Inmate
correct?
fills that card out.
Okay. And so this is when they entered into the prison. Does everybody get
No, those
a card?
cards are just accessible like a little box that's on the
Okay.
side of the wall. They fill it out. They can be going to chow or whatever. You grab the card, or ask CO, can I get a sick call card? They fill it
Okay.
out. They drop it in the box, and the nurses we would have specific times that we would go around and pick up those cards. So
Okay.
if I pick up that card at 7 p.m. and your son or daughter puts their card in at 7:30, then it's going to probably be another 4 hours before those cards are picked up again.
Oh,
So they also,
wow.
right. So you have to be informed and ask questions. And I'm going to tell you guys, please, I never had a problem with disrespect with any of the guys. I worked in a men's prison. But remind your son or daughter to just be respectful. Always remember the manners, remember your home training, because you can get a whole lot more with honey than you can with vinegar. And if you ask to let one of the COs know, hey, I put a sick call in, the nurses already picked up the cards. Can you let one of them know that there's another card? If you have a heart, and most nurses have compassion, we'll know that there's another sick call card, so that person don't have to wait another day, because they already got to wait up to 72 hours before they're going to be seen.
Okay. So give us what like a day in a life would be for a nurse that works in the prison.
Okay. So, very first thing is, when you drive onto the parking lot, everything is secure. So, and like I said, you have to have a clear bag, no phones. You go in, and we go through security just like everybody else.
So you have to leave your phone in the car too?
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. You will go to jail for that.
Oh, okay.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Hmm. No one is supposed to have a personal phone in the inside.
Okay.
So you leave everything in the car. We would go in. I worked night shift and day shift. One of my friends, Trisha, I think she may be on. She worked day shift, and I would work night shift. So it was our building was not huge. We had one medical in the middle of the prison. So if you were there on night shift, you were the only nurse there. You're there by yourself.
Only one
Yeah.
nurse, really? And out of all those inmates?
Hmm. But trust
Jesus.
me, you're safer in there than you are anywhere else. Trust me.
No, but I would just think that you would need like maybe like at least maybe the minimum 5 nurses because there's so
It just
many.
depends on the size of the facility, the level of security that the facility is, things of that
Okay.
nature. We were parole violators, so we were small. I mean, I can't think, maybe 500, but that's still a
Okay.
lot.
That's
We
still a
did.
lot for one person
It
though.
is. It is. And it
Yeah.
was a big responsibility. So nurses that work the evening and night shift kind of work together. So there was 2 nurses there at some point, because, we have to do report and all that. But on the morning shift, you go in, you prepare medications, because some of them have regular medications scheduled for that first pill call. They come to the window and they get their medicines. They have to show you their ID band and state their name, their number. If they have any other issues, we cannot address those issues at that time. They have to put in a sick call. And this is where you have to put your fair, firm, and consistent face on. I'm sorry, I cannot address this
So
right now.
if the inmate puts on the sick call that his throat is hurting,
Hmm.
but now he's saying he's having chest pains, you won't be able to handle both because it's not on the sick call.
Correct. That's why I said every issue that your child is experiencing, put it on one sick call, pay one time. And I
Mm,
understand that, sometimes you may not, you may have a sore throat, you may have chest pains later, and it happens. But if your child knows that they're going to put a sick call in, tell them to put everything that they can think of that's wrong with them on the sick call. We do have, we would have protocol meds that we could give for some patients that when we did pill call and sick call is different. Pill call is for those patients that are taking regular medicines. We would give them their medicines. And then later in the morning, we would do actual sick call. And sick call is not, we didn't do it every day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if your child has a headache, constipated, something like that, we examine them, and we could do just protocol meds, Tylenol, Bisacodol, uh, Benadryl, things of that nature. If they need to see a doctor, then there was a day that the doctor would be there, and then they would actually come back and see the doctor. But you don't pay a second time for that. You pay the
Okay.
first time you come, and if we have you to come back, you don't pay that $3 the second time you come back.
Okay. I have a mother that wanted me to ask you, but I know since you dealt with parole violations, so
Mhm.
that's different from the regular, like when I guess the big prison, I guess dealing with just regular inmates, because
Not really.
her son, is dealing with some medical problems right now, and she's calling up to the prison, and
Mhm.
she is emailing them, and her son's still not getting attention. The
Is her
what
son actually putting the sick call in himself? Because most times, and I found from my own experience with my child, and even knowing some of these nurses,
Mhm.
it took a minute to get my child seen, and he was having
Okay.
some dental issues, and we had to go, back and forth. They're not going to talk to us as
Oh, so
as moms.
they
That's
won't
why
talk to
you
the
have guys. You're
parents.
going to have to educate your child. It's like continuing parenting while they're in there. Educate your child. Tell them they have to fill out the sick call and be very specific on the sick call and put it in again and again and again because
And what else should they be doing? The inmate should be doing besides what else should they be doing?
um, letting the CO know that they put a sick call in and that the nurses have not addressed um, their issues.
Okay. And
Because then the CO at that point they need to come to us and say, hey, I got this guy down here. He said he puts three sick calls in. What's going on? And at that point, we need to get on it, get that person seen, or find out why that person has not been seen. Because sometimes they'll lie and say they put a sick call in, but they really haven't. It's very common.
okay. So basically, I know us mothers, we just do to women, period. We be taking control. But at
Mm-hmm.
the end of the day, the inmate needs to create the paper trail. I see that in the comments. The
Mm-hmm.
the sick call, everything needs to be documented.
It has to be documented, and even with in medical, if
Mhm.
an inmate comes down and a CO brings them down because they having some emergencies, that has to be documented on medical part and on the security part that they brought someone out of the cell down here and why. Because if it's not documented, it never happened. So, and it's the same with them. There has to be a paper trail on both sides.
Um, this is gonna be a tough question. I don't know if you can answer it, but I'm
Okay.
gonna ask anyway. Can you say the name of the prison or no?
Me,
Yeah.
the prison that I worked in,
Yeah.
no.
Okay. Listen, I was gonna act like Oprah for a second. Let me ask. Just saying, I was just gonna ask, but okay. But um, what else should mothers do besides, we educate our sons? Because sometimes, we love our kids, but sometimes they hard headed and they don't want to listen. What
Mhm.
else should we be telling them?
Use their manners.
Oh,
I'm serious. Use your manners. Don't lie.
okay.
Don't bull crap the nurse because we're moms. Most of us are moms. And just be honest. Hey, you know, could you please, check and my sick call, and just talk to because that's the only thing you can do. The sick call is is the only way that you're going to get from your barrack into medical to get some help.
Okay. Now, has an inmate ever been rude to you? I know you're nice and,
Mm,
but has anybody, like, have you ever witnessed or even witnessed another nurse where
mm.
the inmate was not polite?
Oh yes, certainly,
Uh,
certainly.
Let us know how did that
I've
go
not
down?
had personal issues with any of the inmates being rude to me or even disrespectful. Actually, they were always very respectful because I want what I put out. I expect it, and so I call them Mister So and So, and they call me Nurse, by my name. So I've not had any issues. I worked with nurses that the inmates were very, very rude. I had one nurse that I worked with that an inmate told her that if the building caught on fire, that he hoped that she got locked in and that he
Oh,
would make sure that the rest of us got out because she was just mean for no reason. So, nurses are people too, moms. So realize that, and this is a job and we have to protect our license at all costs when you work in prison because sometimes you don't know if our kids are telling us the truth or not. Sometimes they just want to get out and come to medical and see what's down there, to nose around, actually get something that, that's down there. We don't have anything much down there, a bunch of Tylenol or prescription drugs for people that have health issues prior to coming in. A mom asked a question. When your child first goes to prison, when they're in that intake, make sure that everything that your child has wrong with them that is addressed there because it may determine which unit they end up in or where
so
they
some
end up.
parents, so if some kids, or young adults have, they're bipolar,
Pre-existing.
they have schizophrenia. So all that should be listed.
It definitely needs to be listed. Any
Okay.
medications that a doctor has prescribed,
Mm-hmm.
because they're going to do blood work, everything from head to toe. But if they don't know that their child is bipolar, they don't know your child has seizures, they don't know that your child, has chronic irritable bowel syndrome, whatever. It,
Mm-hmm.
that's why we have to make sure that our kids um, are informed on what they need to be saying. So when you're on these phone calls with your kids, you need to be asking them, look, have you filled out a sick call? What did you write on the sick call? Because I have to do my kids like that, adult kids. Did you follow up? Have you put another sick call in? And then with that, moms, we have to make sure that they've got money on their books to pay for those sick calls.
You gotta pay for this?
Hmm.
Oh my goodness.
It's a money making business that
Wow. Okay. So basically, mothers, we need to tell our sons and daughters, our adult children, to make sure they write thorough on those sick calls. So be thorough. I know our kids be like, Mom, I know already, but listen to what Sybil is saying. She's literally, now she's just not saying to say it. She's worked in the prison, so
Mhm.
she understands how it works. Have you ever seen someone maybe they didn't get their medication in time and they had to be rushed to the hospital?
Mm. Not really, not get medication in time, but um, we've had people that have just with age, you have different health issues.
Mm-hmm.
So those issues had not been addressed. They weren't known about. So someone, fell ill while we're there, and we have to call the ambulance to come get them because that's one of the things that you have to deal with when there's an emergency. The CO gets us, but we can't go into the barracks until everyone is laying on their beds and security is in there before medical comes in, and then we're able to assess the patient.
And what happens if the inmate calls the parent and be like, for example, hey mom, I put all this information on the sick call, but I'm still not getting attention. Does the parent have any say so then, or do we email the warden? Do we call up to the prison? What do you say to that?
Mhm. They have to be responsible for themselves,
Mm,
and it sounds horrible, but it kind of makes it harder for them if we start bombarding the system. Oh, make sure that your child has actually put the sick calls in, because that was one of the issues that we had with parents that did uh, figure out a way to call to medical. Um, That was the issue. There was no sick call. There was no paper trail. And their child was sick, but the child, they hadn't, and we're calling these people children because they're our kids, they're our babies, but these are adults.
Okay, so these are
They're
adult
adults.
males. Okay.
They're 18 and over. These are adults. They have to fill out the paperwork. This is something, unfortunately, that we cannot hold them by the hand and walk them through. If they
Oh,
need psychiatric evaluation, they need to put a sick call in that says, I'm stressed out, I'm losing it, I need to speak to the therapist. And then that's a sick call. And the nurse has to evaluate that person, get them down there so that they can evaluate to see if they are in immediate danger or people around them are in immediate danger. Those are things that have to be addressed. But filling out the sick call is the key to getting into medical. Now, if they go to medical and the nurse addresses it, sends them back, but they're still sick, tell them to put another sick call in. And they can file a grievance against the nurses for not, and doctors for not, addressing it correctly or providing the right care or proper care. I'm trying to be delicate the way I say it, but they do need to at least have the sick calls in. And if they have not been addressed in 3 days, another sick call in. And moms, that's when you talk to your kid. Hey, did you go to the doctor? What did they say? Did they give you any medicine? Because they should give you medicine to bring back to your a Z-Pack for colds, if they're just having cold symptoms.
can parents do anything when it comes to the HIPAA?
Well, because HIPAA is that they are adults, and you can get power of attorney for your attorney for your child.
Mm-hmm.
In the event that they get really sick and they have to go to the hospital,
Mm-hmm.
you can find out information and you can give directives and things of that nature. But as far as you calling, saying, hey, my child is sick and has filled out a sick call and y'all ain't seen them, they're not going to address it. They will only address it with the inmate.
Okay. Just want to let you know she's talking for the state of Arkansas,
Arkansas.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Arkansas, because someone's asking, is it Colorado or New York? She's talking about
Arkansas.
Sybil worked out of Arkansas,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's BB. BB, it's Arkansas. So I know it looks like
Mm-hmm.
BB, you're talking about New York. She's talking about
Okay.
Arkansas, but overall, I believe every prison has you have to fill out a sick call for every prison
It
though.
is.
It doesn't matter
Mhm.
what state.
It doesn't matter what state it is. You have to fill out a sick call. And I'm not sure of the cost even in Arkansas now, but at that time it was $3. And when my son was in Delta Regional, it was
Mhm.
$3.
Okay. So basically what I'm hearing is that I know, like you said, these are our babies. I don't be saying Damiani my baby. I mean, so
Yes, you do. We all do
nah, I be saying Damiani. I say his grown ass because he grown. But uh for our adult children,
Mhm.
mothers can't do as much as we want to. So
Mm-mm.
it really falls on the inmate. And no matter how many times we call up to the prison or email the prison, there is that going to do anything so our
Make
children can
somebody
get,
piss somebody off because they're like, she calling up here again. And her
okay.
child ain't even said nothing wrong with him.
So you've seen that happen before.
Mhm.
Oh. Y'all listening to Sybil? She's just not, she worked in
I
a
mean,
prison,
I'm being
y'all.
serious.
Yeah.
I mean, we love our kids, and we sometimes we believe our kids, when they don't tell us the truth, because we want what's best for our kids because they go in there to serve their time, not to be mistreated, and they deserve health care and to be treated fairly and decently. Because them being confined in prison does not define who they are or even who you are as a mom, but just common decent humanity with people. You want to make sure that people are taken care of. But at the same time, there's innocent people in prison, and we know that there's some that's not so innocent. So we have to follow the rules. We have to be fair, firm, and consistent. That's a thing that you'll hear a correctional nurse say. Fair, firm, and consistent with everybody. And you have to let them know if you don't have a sick call in, you cannot be seen unless there's an emergency. I mean, a real emergency. And then we check your ABCs, your airway, breathing, circulation. If that's going and your vital signs are good, you're going to fill out a regular sick call and come back when you're at your turn.
Mm. I hope y'all taking notes. She's dropping some knowledge, and I believe what's your friend's name? Trina,
Trisha.
Trisha.
Hmm.
Trisha's in the comments too, you guys. Trisha used to work in the prison. She's no longer working in the prison, right?
Right. No, neither one of us
Yeah.
do.
Okay. So Trisha, I see Trisha's in the comments and she's talking to some of you guys. Again, they used to work in the prison. So
Hmm.
they're just not talking just to be talking. They actually know what happened
Yeah.
and what to do because they've worked inside the prison. What do you want to tell a mother that is dealing with a situation where her son is does need medical attention and he did do the sick card? What do you want to tell him and he's still not getting attention?
There should be an ombudsman uh, that is assigned or works at your prison that you can reach out to. That would be the person that would be your liaison between you and your child as far as getting medical care or safety issues. That's the person that you would talk to. Call your contact person. Your son may know who that person is for you to reach out to, but definitely reach out to like an ombudsman or a social worker that is assigned, that is assigned to the unit that your child is in, and let them know the issues that you're having. That you do have a paper trail for your child. Your child has put the sick calls in. They're legible. They're specific, and your child is still having health issues that could lead to more chronic, even more serious health issues. You really want it to be addressed. But make sure that your child is actually filling out the sick calls, y'all, and that they are, because that's the only way you're going to get in. If you don't have a prescription already, even if it's having issues with your vision, and you
Mm-hmm.
may need glasses. My son ended up having to see an optometrist while he was incarcerated. So there had to be a sick call. I kept telling him, "You're having headaches, Chase, because you probably can't see." And
Mm.
he had never worn glasses before, but he had to put in that sick call, and it took him 5 sick calls to get to see the eye doctor. They kept giving him, stuff for a headache.
Oh, so basically it was really for eyeglasses, but they kept giving him aspirin.
Hmm.
So why did it have to go 5 times?
Okay, think about when you're out in the real world. You go to the doctor, there's something wrong with you, and they tell you, that it's this or that. And you go home and take the medicine they give you, and it's not exactly working. And you got to go back. Well, it's the same way in there, because and oftentimes they don't know what's wrong with them. And it's, just trial and error. And a lot of times don't want to go, they don't want to use their money to pay for a sick call.
Mm. I wonder, so you said back then it was $3, and what year was
Mhm.
that?
Um, 2011, 10, 11.
Okay, so the price is definitely probably is
Yeah,
probably increased.
yeah.
Okay. So you would have to pay $3 for
For your,
Chase when he wanted to see the
yeah, to go see the doctor, just to see the nurse. And then the nurse would determine that it's just a headache. So she would give him Tylenol, or that's what we would do. And he would go back to his barracks, go back to his dorm. If he's continuing to have headaches, when I talk to him again, well, Chase, did you go back? Nah. Well, why are you having headaches? I don't know. It's just my head hurting. Have you been fighting? No, just my head hurting. And it's just, how guys are. Y'all know they don't want to go to the doctor anyway.
they don't.
They don't. So really be sure that your child
They
is filling
don't.
out these sick calls, because my son didn't want to go to the nurse. Yes.
Mm.
So they if they get to the nurse and the nurse sees that there's something a little more serious wrong once it's been assessed, then they put a note into the doctor. Sometimes the doctor would give us an order to do something. Sometimes he would just say, "I'll see them when I come in on medical day, on doctor day."
You have someone just asked, why do you, I asked this question earlier, but someone, I guess she didn't see it. Maria, she asked, why would you have to pay for a sick call? And Like you said, prison is a $1 billion industry. Everything has a price to it.
People think
Unfortunately, we have
that
to.
these guys are in there and living la vie, la loca. That means like,
Yeah,
no, they have to pay for everything. Everything in prison is a la carte. You got to pay for it. They
and
have
a
to
la
pay
carte
for
adds
the,
up.
yeah, they have to pay for a sweatshirt to stay warm. They have to pay for the shoes and the socks because you can't send items into the prison. They have to buy from that entity.
Have you ever had an inmate who didn't have the funds to get a sick card? Have you ever seen that?
We don't deal so much with the money aspect of it,
Okay.
but I'm sure that there were some that had bills that that couldn't come because they didn't have the money to. Because I remember one guy pitching a fit. He says, "I spent my last money, and all you got to give me is some daggone Tylenol." It's like, I don't have anything else to give you, baby. I'm sorry, but yeah, they have to pay for that. They have to pay for their sick call, and if they don't have money, it's unfortunate. That's why family support is so crucial.
Yes. Yes.
If you don't have family supporting you, how are you expected to rehabilitate when you're in there in pain? You have a toothache, or you have a headache, or you've got stomach issues. Uh, in county jail, they have a big problem with boils and stuff there. So if they don't have money to buy a bar of Dial soap, which will get rid of it, um, then they just God, if they have to do with what they have. Family support is crucial. We have to make healthy decisions for ourselves as far as sending money to the prisons, for kids, but their health is a priority. Make sure they got money on their books for, to go to the doctor.
Mm. Wow, Sybil, thank you for this information, y'all. This was like I didn't even know this. Oh wait, someone your friend Trisha said, Sybil, please remind them that the inmate only oops, someone just I missed
I can't
the
see the
inmate
comment.
only gets I gotta go back. Something about 3 to 7 days. The inmate only gets to keep the sick call meds for 3 to 7 days. What does that
Right.
mean?
So if you come to medical and you get sick call medicines like a sick pack, which would be like Tylenol, aspirin, something like that. They can only have it in their dorm with them for 3 to 7 days, whatever it's prescribed for. After that time, it's considered contraband. And yeah,
Really?
right. Because it's gonna say, you're gonna be taking this for 3 days, or you're gonna be taking it for 5 days or 7 days. If they sometimes, y'all know how we do. You got your medicine from the doctor. Oh, I'm well now. I ain't gonna take all this. I'm gonna save it for later. Well, you can't do that.
Oh, I did not know that. So
Contraband.
basically, when they subscribe, like example, Tylenol, like you said, and if and they say 3 to 7 days. So on the eighth day, if I still have one
It's
aspirin,
contraband. It's contraband at that point, and you're gonna get in trouble if you're caught with it.
and then you can get probably a slip written up for that for having
Hmm.
that because
Hmm.
it's the eighth day.
Hmm.
Wow,
Yeah.
did not know that.
So,
Woo!
and just another reminder to moms, the last time we were talking about, I had a mom to inbox me about sending money uh, via Cash App or Venmo. Y'all, please don't do that. Don't get your child more time, and don't get
Mm,
yourself, because the police will show up at your door. Don't get in trouble sending money to your child illegally. Be sure you send it the way that it's supposed to be sent through the system. Find out, what system is used, and send it the correct way. It might take a little bit longer for them to get it that way, but it's really serious business for you to send money to your child. I mean, we want them to make sure they've got money for sick calls.
yes. Sybil, before we end, you were with me in the beginning,
Yeah.
um, and I want you to take a moment, um, just as because Chase is watching you, and he's very proud of his mama stepping out her shell. What's a piece of advice that you want to share with the mothers, encouraging words during this time of difficult times of even if their child is not sick, or to the
Mhm.
mothers who have children that are like seeking that sick call and need attention?
Stay focused with your child. Continue to love your child. And just like I said before, set healthy boundaries with your child. Let them know that you care about what's going on with them. And you want to make sure that they get the help they're supposed to. They've got to meet you halfway by filling out the paperwork correctly, because you can't do it for them. Tell them, I can't do it for you, baby. But I want you to make sure it's done. So just educate your child on how things need to go. And from a nurse that's been in there, being nice to those nurses, not flirting with them, but being nice and respectful. It goes a long way, because we can use our resources to make sure that if there's not a sick call filled out for you, that you have one in your hand. Now fill it out and give it to me, or whatever, or put it in the box and I'll go get it. You know, be respectful. So the thing I would tell moms is to just educate your child, set healthy boundaries with your children, and let them know, I'm going to be here for you. But we ain't sending no $5,000 a month for you because you got to go sick call. So.
And how can the people find you, Sybil? Because
I
you have some people that are looking for you. So on
Okay,
social
on
media.
Facebook, I'm Sybil, and Instagram and TikTok, I'm at Sib's World. I recently started a grievance page, Broken Chains. So you can find find that page on Facebook, and it's for those moms who've lost a child. No matter how you lost a child, whether that child was incarcerated or you lost them car accident, it doesn't matter. To lose a child is to lose a child. And so we're just trying to do some healing things over there, praying, doing some things. We're going to start some scholarships and just different things to try and help some moms. We're going to, hey, this whole mess is a message that will become a ministry.
Listen, your pain is your purpose. I keep telling people that your
You better
pain is
know
your
it.
purpose. For
You
y'all
better
who don't
know
know, Sybil lost her son in prison. So
it.
some of you guys that are jumping on the call right now, she's just not talking. She walking by faith and not by sight.
Hey,
And God has been with her through this journey. And
yes,
I'm
Lord.
so grateful for her to be a part of this journey with me, because she's going to minister to those mothers who understands her pain, and she's just a blessing. She's just a beautiful soul. Now, listen, y'all. Today episode blessed y'all and it helped y'all. So I need y'all to do something for me. I need
Uh-oh.
y'all to subscribe to my YouTube channel, share this, comment, and share this to other mothers who are struggling with having a child incarcerated and they don't know where to go, and they're trying to figure out what I should do, or I'm stuck and I'm still in depression. Like I said, my child is in prison. Now what? Now what do you do when you get that 5-year sentence? What do you
Mhm.
get that 10-year sentence? What do you do now? And this is what this platform is for, is to help you to get out of the depression, to get you unstuck. The journey is not easy, because I'm not going to say it's peaches and cream, because it's not. Listen, it's not. And Sybil can agree with me on that. You guys, please write a review. If this is you guys listening to this from my Apple podcast, please write a review on there. I am trying to get the attention of YouTube that this podcast, this platform matters. So the more we make noise on subscribing, leaving a comment, sharing it, YouTube is going to throw this out there to the algorithm to say mothers matter.
Amen.
Again, Sybil, say somebody asked, how do you spell your name?
Sibyl. It's spelled three different ways on Facebook, though. It's
Go ahead.
Sybil spelled three different ways.
Okay. If not, y'all, I'm gonna tag her into the post, and or you guys can inbox me, y'all, and I can give you her information. If you guys can't find her, y'all can easily find me, Tiffany Nicole. Again, I'm gonna tag her into this so you guys can find her. Again, thank you, Sybil, so much, and
Thank
remember,
you, Tiffany.
ladies.
Thank you, y'all. Tiffany, I mean, we need to give this woman her flowers right now. Tiffany, you don't understand how you are blessing women all over the world, baby. God
Thank
bless you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I support you. Moms, I support you. And if you want to reach out to me, feel free. I've chatted with other moms privately and over the phone. I even did an interview with one mom. She's writing a book and doing some research. You guys, I don't know all the answers, but I'm willing to pray with you. Tiffany is too. And whatever it is that we need to do so that we can survive this.
Yes. Remember, no mother walks alone on this journey. Ladies, let's keep lifting each other up and let's keep praying over our children. Just because they're in prison does not mean that God does not have a purpose for them. We're raising kings behind bars, we're raising queens behind bars because God has called them. It's just like when Peter was in prison, God had an assignment for Peter. God has an assignment for your child. So don't let this hold you back. This is just a setup for a miracle. Watch how God gonna move. Cause y'all, I got a powerful testimony coming because I can feel it in my spirit.
All
I
right
feel
now.
it. But again, you guys, thank you so much for joining the show. It's your girl Tiffany Nicole, and thank you again, Sybil, for joining us. I appreciate you. You guys have a good one.